Thank you for being here. Today I'm joined by, next Wednesday, Secretary Esper will depart on a trip to our priority theater, the Indo-Pacific. He will travel to Seoul, Bangkok, Manila, and Hanoi, where he will participate in the ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting and meet with many allies and partners in the region who share our vision for a free and open Indo-Pacific. We will discuss common challenges such as the militarization of the South China Sea and predatory Chinese commercial and economic activities. The trip is a reflection of the Department's focus on our concerns with Chinese efforts to undermine the rules-based international order in the region.
I would say that most of the equipment and the mission is the defeat of ISIS. The securing of the oil fields is a subordinate task to that mission. And the purpose of that task is to deny ISIS the revenues from that oil infrastructure. As we know, back in 2015, when they were in control of that infrastructure, it was pumping out 45,000 barrels per day to the tune of $1.5 million a day to support their operations. And we're just not going to let that happen again.
I understand everything both of you have said.
All of our operations in Syria are done under the Commander-in-Chief's authorities with regard to protecting Americans from terrorist activity, including de-ISIS. And despite the effort to decouple the de-ISIS mission from this, that is what this is about. Our efforts in the region in preventing ISIS from taking the oil, keeping the oil fields in a place where the SDF is able to use them for funding for their de-ISIS efforts is part of that mission.
Inside the boundaries of another country.
The legal basis for this comes under the Commander-in-Chief's authority for us to be conducting counterterrorism efforts against de-ISIS. And I get your point when you're trying to decouple the ISIS issue from the Syria issue, but it is not a decoupled issue. Our efforts in the area are focused on our de-ISIS mission, and we'll continue with that.
And retake natural resources that belong.
President Trump's the Commander-in-Chief and has the authority for us to be doing operations to defeat terrorism. And part of the efforts to deter, prevent the ISIS from obtaining the oil fields is an effort to prevent them from obtaining revenue so that they can fund their terrorist operations globally.
What is the status here?
Yeah, I don't have the specific laydown in which field is operating and which is not. No mystery to anybody that we're about 8 years into a civil war in Syria, and so there's a great deal of infrastructure that's in disrepair. That said, it's the SDF and the U.S. forces shoulder to shoulder protecting that to ensure that ISIS doesn't have access to and revenue of the revenues.
And to your second point, the revenue from this is not going to the U.S. This is going to the SDF. That's holding it. So we're going to do one last one right here, and then that's it.
Can you comment